Next topic is the Gonds. In the early medieval period, the regions around Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and present day Chhattisgarh formed the kingdom of the Kalachuri dynasty. So, especially in the early medieval period, the region belongs, or you can say, around the Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and present day Chhattisgarh were all under the kingdom of Kalachuri dynasty. The Kalachuris took tribute from the tribes that resided in this hilly and forested region. So the Kalachuris, they were the tribal people and they resided especially in the hilly and forest areas. The largest among these tribes were the Gonds, after whom these areas was often called Gondwana or country inhabited by the Gonds. So as the tribals who were living in these regions, that particular tribal's name was Gonds. That's why this place is famously known as Gondwana land or a country where the Gonds had been originated. They had probably migrated from the south between the 10th and 12th centuries and were traditionally agriculturists. So they migrated from southern part of the world. Yes, they migrated from southern part of the world and entered in the Indian subcontinent between the 10th and 12th centuries, and they were traditionally agriculturists. That means they used to practice agriculture. While some practiced shifting cultivation, others grew cereals, herded cattle, or worked as laborer. So some they used to practice shifting cultivation. Some used to grow different types of cereals, and even some they used to herded cattle. That means they used to look after the cattle. They used to rear the cattle, and from the cattle they used to produce, or they used to take out the different types of valuable items. That is, from the sheep wool was being extracted, and with the help of wool different types of woolen clothes were made. And other animals such as cow and goat, from their milk was extracted, and with the help of milk they used to make different types of dairy products. And even some they worked as a laborers in the in the agriculture or in the agriculture field. Their language was known as Gondi. So the Gonds, the tribal of the tribal which is famously known as Gonds, their language was Gondi. As you can see in this picture, this was the traditional attire of the Gonds tribal people. Next is administrative history. After the decline of the Kalachuris in and around the 13th century, several Gonds chieftains established independent strongholds in southern and western part of the Kalachuris kingdom. So after the decline of the Kalachuris around the 13th century, many several Gond chieftains they established different types of their administration, especially in the southern and western parts of the Kalachuri kingdom. The capitals of the Gond chiefs were usually built near a hill or a river and were located at Deoghar, Kerala, Mandla, and Chanda. So, the capital of the Gonds were usually built near the hill or a river, and they were usually in these particular areas. The large palaces, fort, and walled cities stand as reflection of the immense power and wealth of the Gond tribes. So, the large palaces, forts, and walled cities were being established or were being built with the help of huge amount of money, and hence these structures or these infrastructure, it shows that the Gondwana tribes were very wealthy. That means they were very rich and they were more powerful. They paid occasional tributes to the Mughal and managed to maintain their independency fairly well. So they paid occasionally tribute to Mughals. That means they used to work together with the Mughals and they used to maintain the independency with the help of Mughal. Often the Gond chiefs assume Rajput titles in an attempt to be recognized as Rajputs. So even the Gond chiefs they assume them as the Rajput, and hence sometimes they were known as Rajputs. The Akbarnama mentioned one such Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga, which comprised 70,000 villages and had a well structured administrative system. So, according to Akbarnama, in Akbarnama, it is mentioned that Gond's kingdoms of Garha Katanga, it was a village, or you can say it was a kingdom which comprises of 70,000 villages, and they were very well structured administrative system. The kingdom was divided into Ghar, and each was administered by a particular clan. So it is believed that the kingdom, that is kingdom of Garha Katanga, it was divided into Ghars, and each Ghars were administered by a particular clan. That means different types of Gotras. The Ghars were divided into units of 84 villages known as Chauraisis, which were further subdivided into Barhot, made up of 12 villages each. So all these kingdoms were divided into different subdivision, and they were administered by different categories of tribal people. Next is Queen Durgavati, the Gond ruler of Garha Katanga. Aman Das assumed the title of Sangram Shah. So the famous ruler of Gond ruler, that is Garha Katanga, was the Aman Das, and he assumed the title known as Sangram Shah. He also tried to expand his territories through matrimonial alliance. So with the help of marriage, he uh, expanded the territories. Okay. Dalpat Sangram Shah's son married Princess Durgavati, the daughter of Salbahan, the Chandel Rajput ruler of Muhaba. So, with the help of a matrimonial alliance, the son of Sangram Shah, that is Dalpat, he married Princess Durgavati, who was the daughter of Salbana, that is the Chandela Rajput ruler. So, hence, these particular areas was also under the Garha Katanga. Dalpat Shah died in 1548 CE, leaving behind a minor son, and Rani Durgavati assumed the reign of government in her hands. So, in the year 1548, Dalpat he died, and leaving the whole territory in the hands of his wife, that is Rani Durgavati, and a minor son. And hence, after the death of her husband, that is Dalpat, she ascended the throne and she looked after the whole territory. A feisty and courageous ruler, she was instrumental in initiating many projects for the welfare of the people. So she was very courageous woman, and she was very strong. She knew the different types of political rules and regulation, and hence she made such an system in which the people in her territory were really happy with her, because she used to make different types of schemes through which people are satisfied. Military expeditions sent by the Delhi Sultans and the Mughals often plundered the Gond kingdoms which lay en route to South India. So there was a different types of military expedition by the Delhi Sultanate period, that is the Delhi Sultanate ruler, and even the Mughals, they used to invade the Gond kingdom, due to which they started to shift from northern India to southern part of India. In the 16th century, Akbar sent an army under Asaf Khan to conquer the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga. So, it is believed that in the 16th century, Akbar he sent his army under the leadership of Asaf Khan in order to capture the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga. It was a rich state and had earned much wealth by exporting wild elephants to other kingdoms. So, it is believed that the Garha Katanga was a very rich state, and this particular kingdom had earned a huge amount of wealth by exporting wild animals to other kingdoms. Rani Durgavati put up a brave fight. She was a very courageous woman, and she was always standing with the army whenever the war took place. But the Mughals emerged victorious and captured a huge booty of precious coins and elephants. So, though she was very brave to fight with the Mughals, but Mughals were more stronger and more, you can say, more intelligent as compared to Rani Durgavati, and hence the whole territory of the Gond kingdom of Garha Katanga was captured by the Mughals, and the Mughals, it captured the whole area, and even they captured the whole precious stones and coins, and even the elephants were captured by the Mughal, empire. The Gond chiefs often rebel against the Mughals and some regain independence after death. So it is believed that the Gond chiefs they often revolt against the Mughals, and some area which the Mughals had captured, that some areas the Gond chiefs were able to get independence after the Aurangzeb death, because after the Aurangzeb death, the rulers of the successor of Aurangzeb were not capable and they were very weak. So it was very easy for the Gonds to recapture their areas with the from the successor of Aurangzeb. However, the Gond kingdoms were gradually taken over by the Marathas and Bundelas, who became powerful in the Deccan. So, after the decline of the Mughal period in India, the Gond kingdoms were gradually taken over by the Marathas and Bundelas, and finally they become more powerful in the Deccan area, that is in the southern part of India.